Great quarterback. The good news, thank you, Lewis. The good news for the defending champs is that Steph Curry is back from injury. Had a team-high 27 points. The bad news, AD put 39 on him, and Golden State lost again on the road. They're now, is it inexplicably, or maybe it's explicable, I don't know, 7-24. The defending champion, the veteran team, away from San Francisco. Here's a look at the standings in the West. Lakers are 11th seed right now, but that's not even really a seed. They're just 2.5 games away from the 6th spot, which is a seed, which would mean they wouldn't have to compete in the play-in tournament. Warriors are currently in the 5th spot. Timmy Goodtimes! Tim Bontemps is here with me in studio. You know, Tim, was it you or it may have been Legs? Someone convinced me because I couldn't figure out what's going on with the Warriors, right? Because at full strength, I'm like, yeah, they could easily chip up again this year. But usually it's a young team that can't win on the road. The Warriors, how does this happen? You can't buy a win on the road? And then it was either you or Legs or one of our basketball experts who said, well, listen, if you have an older team, a veteran team that's saving it for the playoffs, where are they going to show out? In front of the hometown fans. And where are they going to take the foot off the gas a little bit on the road? It makes me think that may be true, and that when the playoffs start, if this team is healthy, they could run the table. What about you?
I mean, look, part of it is the Warriors have not had their full group together for a lot of the season, right? When they have had their full group together, they've had the best starting lineup in the league by a very significant amount, which is why they're my pick to still get out of the West. But you look at that 7-24 number, there's two teams in the league with less road wins than the Warriors. The Houston Rockets and the San Antonio Spurs. What do they have in common? They stink. The Golden State Warriors do not stink. It is wild that they are this bad on the road. It's wild they couldn't win that game yesterday with Steph back. And it is something they obviously have to change before the playoffs. But again, it has to be said. Steph Curry's first game back. Andrew Wiggins has not been here for a while. I'm still betting on the Warriors if they're fully healthy and ready to go. But this road thing is a real problem.
But you agree with that analysis, apparently, because they're going to have to win a game on the road throughout the playoffs if they want to advance. And I wouldn't put it past them. In fact, they might even be my favorite right now.
I mean, they are my favorite to get out of the West. But that being said, it's more to me because the West is not very good.
Meantime,
right? I'm picking them because basically by default.
Meantime, the Lakers, if LeBron were healthy and AD, I would say, hey, maybe they have a kind of a chance. But we see this in the NBA a lot. When you put all your chips in for a guy like AD, you become top heavy, not very deep. Then you gain your resources, you gather them over time. The league allows that. And then you push them in. They missed on Russell Westbrook.
They certainly did.
So now they have to try to get that back up. I feel like this team next year, with a little luck, could be a real problem. But it's a wrap this year. Where are you on the Lakers?
I would agree with that. I mean, there's a chance that they get in the play-in tournament. There's a chance they hang around. Some of these teams that are in those 7 to 10 spots are certainly doing their best to try to slide back. The Lakers are certainly going to be pushing it to the end. They don't have their first-round pick, as we know. New Orleans Pelicans get it. So there's no reason for them to try to fall down and maybe get Victor Wembanyama in the lottery. They can't do that. So I think there's a chance the Lakers get in, especially if LeBron can get back. But the one thing I'll say, you look at that graphic, the team in 12th, the Oklahoma City Thunder, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is healthy.
Its winning streak in the NBA will relive their weekend in just a New York minute. Plus, the longest winning streak, it did belong to the Bucks until Philadelphia said enough of that. So what we learned about the Sixers in that win. And speaking of some great duels, the Dallas-Phoenix rivalry, it is back to the forefront after an absolute classic yesterday that ended in a little bit of a skirmish. We're going to get to all of that in just a minute. NBA Today starts right now. Welcome to NBA Today, presented by Navy Federal Credit Union. We start today's show with some news. Ja Morant, he's currently spending time away from the Memphis Grizzlies while the NBA investigates an Instagram live video that he posted early Saturday morning. And in the video, Ja displayed what appeared to be a gun while at a nightclub. And in a statement, Ja said, quote, "I take full responsibility for my actions last night. I'm sorry to my family, teammates, coaches, fans, partners, the city of Memphis, and the entire Grizzlies organization for letting you down." Senior writer Ramona Shelburne is joining us now because, Ramona, this issue, it really isn't confined just to the NBA. What more can you tell us about a police investigation that's going on in Colorado where the incident took place?
Yeah, this morning, my colleague Liz Merrill and I were reporting that the Glendale Police Department in Colorado has confirmed that the incident took place in Colorado at a bar in Colorado. And that's important, Malika, because because Colorado has different gun laws than, let's say, Los Angeles. The Grizzlies flew from Denver to Los Angeles on Saturday, and here's the statement from the Glendale Police Department. Colorado is an open carry state, so the gun laws there are different. However, the it's illegal to possess a firearm in Colorado if you're under the influence of alcohol. Now, it's hard to determine whether Miranda's under the influence of alcohol here, but this is what the police department is investigating now. And this is a legal situation now as it moves forward, not just at the NBA level, but in the state of Colorado.
So the police department is investigating this now, and that'll inevitably play a part in how the NBA weighs all of this, Ramona. So for more on that piece, let's bring in senior NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski. Woj, where does the league's investigation stand today?
Malika, Ramona, listen, essentially the league investigation just started on Saturday. This is not the first time that they've investigated allegations around Ja Morant with a possible firearm, and that has been part of league probes really going back a year now. And so I think for the NBA, what they're going to want to know, was that Ja Morant's gun that he was holding? Was that gun on a team plane? Was it in a team facility? Was it in a locker room? You know, those are all certainly some of the questions that they're going to have as they start digging into this situation with Ja Morant. Certainly they're going to want to know, as Ramon was reporting, what the Colorado authorities are finding out. But certainly, listen, this has been for the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA really a series of ongoing probes around conversation with Ja Morant and guns. And so this is, while not a continuation of it, a new investigation. This is certainly information and information gathering that's not new at the league office level.
So, Ramona, as the league continues to gather this information, what, if any, precedents can Adam Silver weigh and lean on here?
Well, the collective bargaining agreement is pretty clear. A player is not allowed to possess a firearm on team facilities or while traveling on team business. And Adam Silver has carte blanche here. If this investigation concludes that A, that is a gun, B, that if it's his gun, the circumstances that he got it, the precedence here is Gilbert Arenas in 2010. David Stern suspended him indefinitely for bringing weapons to the Wizards locker room. We know that case is very different, obviously, than this Ja Morant case, but this will now sit with Adam Silver once that investigation is concluded and depending on what they find.
Woj, Ramona, thank you. I want to bring senior NBA writer for Anscape into this conversation, Mark Spears, because, Mark, I'm curious, what are you hearing from around the league in reaction to Ja Morant's actions and subsequent absence from the Memphis Grizzlies?
Well, I talked to guys from 4 different teams who have a close ear to the players. And what they were saying is the players really don't want to speak about this publicly out of respect for Ja and him being an elite player. But they also felt behind the scenes that his actions were really silly, quote unquote, from one person, and wondered what was he doing and why would he do that? A couple of them said that some of the players were raising an eyebrow about Ja, saying that there was some stress going on with him in his statement. But they want to stay away from it, and they're certainly very worried that he's moving way too fast.
So I guess the question now, Ramona, is where do the Grizzlies go from here?
You know, I was at the game last night with the Grizzlies and the Clippers. It was a close game. The Grizzlies had a lead. They ended up losing it in the fourth quarter. And it felt like a moment of normalcy, right, where they were it was just about a basketball game. But the Grizzlies, when you talk to them, to the players, to coaches, to people in their front office, they are approaching this as 2 ways. One, there is the support for Ja Morant, the person, and especially what he's going through as he seeks help. And 2, there's the level of accountability. As Coach Taylor Jenkins said, we have to have a standard in our organization and around the league. And this is a league, as you know, 2015 participated in a series of public service announcements against gun violence. And so all of this factors into how the Grizzlies approach this, but it is it is at least 2 games, and as Taylor Jenkins said, this is not really a timetable situation. So the emphasis on at least. There's no timetable for his return.
Mark?
Yeah, I talked to Kenyon Martin this morning, a former NBA vet, and he's like, they need a grown man in that locker room. And he's right. If you look at the Grizzlies locker room, they're one of only 2 teams in the league that don't have a player that is at least 30 years old. Kenyon also, we talked about Carmelo Anthony. You know, Kenyon played with him. I covered him. There are a lot of similarities between Ja and Carmelo Anthony early in his career, a lot of the issues that Carmelo had. And he ended up getting an honest group of people around him, family, business people, teammates, that basically told him what he was doing wrong and how to stop and move on and use basketball to be a tool for greatness. And if you look at Melo now, all the things that went on early in his career are a side note to all the great things he's done and is doing off the court. You know, Melo told me once, he said, man, I wish the Nuggets had a vet with me when I first got brought there to Denver. And Kiki Vandeweghe actually thought about signing LaFonso Ellis and later regretted that he